Shalom, HALALYAM, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well and taught us this truth through the Spirit. To the Akim out here laboring, making their bodies a living sacrifice, pushing the word out in truth and sincerity. To the Akim listening and learning, being doers of the word and abiding in the faith. And to the speckled birds scattered abroad that look like the other nations but are truly Yasharallah Shalom. Now I just want to go into a quick little lesson going into how basically we should be constantly evolving, and we should be evolved from how we were in the world to how we are now. Okay, now of course it takes time. You know, once you find out the truth and you're getting into it, you start on the milk. You know, it likens you unto a child. That's what it means to be born again. You know, you're a little one and you start getting weaned off of the milk. You know, you're not going to jump straight to Revelation and get into these deep, dark sayings and prophecies like that. No, you need to start at, Deuteronomy. That's why the brothers always bring out Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68, and so on and so forth. So you start off by getting weaned off the milk just as a baby would. And then you move on to, tougher foods, I guess. It's a gradual process. And that's just, an analogy or similitude to illustrate the, how it is, how the process would be. So, I bring this up because our people, those that are, awakened to the truth, Israelites, on social media, and I was thinking, it's social media, what do you expect type shit, but actually being in the truth, you should know, what social media really is, how the masses truly are, and why this is why we're prophesying and rebuking the majority of people. Okay, this is why we're sighing and crying against these nations. You're supposed to come out of that. I'm not saying don't use social media at all, because it's informative sometimes. You can get a glimpse into the minds of people sometimes. You can, catch up on some news and things like that. But as far as staying in that same mindset and going about your life in the same self-destructive ways as all these people do, you should be completely past that. For you to be in the truth and still be engaging in the same conversations, holding on to the same stances, right? I'll give you an example. Like colorism, light skin versus dark skin. Okay? I know those of us, before we were even in the truth, we knew that the light skin versus dark skin, even if we didn't know about Willie Lynch and things like that, we still know that it was bullshit. There's no color distinction that, in the words of Minnesota Boy, man. Shout out to Minnesota Boy. There ain't no color distinction that verifies different levels of behavior. It doesn't exist, So we should have already knew that. But coming into the truth, now you see, we're Israelites. Okay, from Judah down to, Zebulon. It doesn't matter. Or I should say Asher to Zebulon, if it's alphabetical. But, so that's one thing. Keeping that stance on light skin versus dark skin, it's retarded, and you should be ashamed of yourself if you're still doing, I like light skin better. I'll never mess with a dark skinned bitch. They're ghetto. Like, are you dumb? Like, you cannot still be doing that, holding onto that problematic philosophy. It really is a philosophy at this point, which was pushed on us by Esau Edom. Okay, what else? Still having this, if you ain't black, blah, 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 blah. You're Mexican, you're this, you cannot be speaking on black issues. Now, look at Apostle Paul. He was a Benjamite, and he was referred, people refer to him as the apostle of the Gentiles. Okay, how are you going to tell Paul he can't speak on Asherite or Zebulonite issues? Like, he's going to his people. We're all the same people. We're all going to each other and waking each other up. Okay, if you have, of course, you're not just gonna go. And if I'm like a, you know, if I'm an Issacharite, right? I'm not just gonna be like, you black bitches, blah blah blah. Of course not. But to still hold on to that juvenile philosophy, you know, how they have, you know, so-called blacks and so-called Mexicans at each other's throats. Okay, for you to still be pushing that is completely foolish, completely wicked. You're causing more division. Okay, because once you come into this truth and you start learning more, you start experiencing more, especially brothers going out on the highways and byways dealing with everybody, you gain a lot of insight, and you are completely justified to judge your people, to rebuke your people. Okay, Judite women be the main ones out of order. Like, let's be real. Well, at least they be the face of it. Okay, they love being the center of attention. But that's not to say that Issacharite women, so-called Mexican women, are not ratchet as hell too. It's just the stereotype. There are stereotypes on all of us. Okay, you have to understand that we're all going through the curses, but don't cause division by still keep holding on to them grudges, them juvenile, childish mindsets. All right, let's get 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 9 first. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. That's how you start out. Okay, if you know enough, go out and teach. That's what brothers, you know, tell, you know, even new brothers, somewhat new brothers in the truth. You know, you shouldn't be. I was just watching a GMS Montreal, the brothers over in Montreal. Ak Napash was talking about, you can't be like, you're in the truth for 3-4 years and you're still sitting there at home on the sidelines. You're an able-bodied Israelite man. You should be getting out there and prophesying. Okay? For we know in part and we prophesy in part, but when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. Okay, so once you at some point you got to get through the milk and move on to some real food. Okay, you have to get to the steak eventually. You can't just be drinking milk, you know. Really, if you've been in, and really I'm just going into this deeper because I want to push this analogy, but if you're on milk for so long, then you're just gonna it's gonna result in diarrhea. You know what I mean? Because if you've been on milk for all those years, obviously the information was going in one ear out the other. You haven't really progressed, you know, or you're holding yourself back. Okay, you're not getting into this, like, you're not diving into this with both feet. You got one foot in the world still, or you're being lukewarm in general. You know what I mean? So, but when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child, but I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. Okay, that goes for this truth. That goes for, you know, how you see. Look at how people in the world will speak. They're like, oh, you know, you're never too old to be a kid. You know, I still want to have fun and do all this. 30-year-old men and women, 30-plus-year-old men and women still having these childish aspirations, still being, I'm gonna keep using that word, juvenile as hell, still being a spiritual infant. Okay, you can't even call them babies. They're dead people walking. They're zombies. Okay, you shouldn't still be on that. You need to be past all the grudges, all the Willie Lynch, all the Jim Crow, all the, the division amongst each other. You should just be rebuking your people. Okay, keep your feelings and your opinions out. If your opinions don't line up with the truth, okay, then you need to examine yourself. And if people around you are still on that bullshit, then you need to get away from them. But we're going to get into that too. Okay, I put away childish things, verse 12. For now we see through a glass, darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know even as also I am known. Okay, and Yahweh giveth the increase. Okay, so hey, if you haven't been progressing, you haven't been putting any effort, you haven't been working towards building yourself up in the faith and investing in YAHAWASHI, accumulating more and more in your spiritual bank account, hey, there's a reason for that. You don't want the Lord to just not be dealing with you at all. You need to try your hardest to understand and put in that work. Okay? You're not going to progress if you're staying around the same wicked, stagnant people. Okay? It's going to rub off on you. And not only that, it's wicked of you to stay around that, not rebuking them, not trying to make them better. And if they're not listening to you, if they're not trying to be better, you need to distance yourself from them. Okay, be not conformed to this world. Arise ye and depart. Come out of her, my people. Be not a partaker in their sins either. All roughly paraphrasing. Okay. Verse 13. And now abideth faith, hope, charity, these three, but the greatest of these is charity. And charity is a domino effect. Okay, having fervent charity amongst Akim wa Akwathiam brothers and sisters is pushing this word out, teaching each other, steering each other in the right direction, exhorting, rebuking, okay, helping each other repent, all that. Okay, charity is not just monetary, though you can help your brothers and sisters if, that's something that I've always wanted to do. I wanted to be well off so that I could help out brothers and sisters. I was never about spending it on jewelry and all this bullshit. Okay, that's the mindset that we should be in, is having that real charity, which starts with this word, this bread of life, and these living waters. Okay? Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yahawadah. Okay? The greatest of these is charity. Because once you have this word, then you shall not want for anything else, and you'll understand why we're even in this position. Okay? So those ambitions, those aspirations, which are worldly in the first place, you won't even care about that anymore. And you'll understand why it was wicked to even go after that. Because at the end of the day, it's going to lead you to sin. You're going to have to do all types of gay shit. You're going to have to do all types of wickedness. It's going to be riches gained by deceit, ill-gotten gains, things like that. It won't work. Okay? Might have to break the Sabbath, break the laws, statutes, the commandments, and whatnot, all that. Okay, so this is like we keep saying, the spiritual bank account. This is where it's at. This is where our time is. Okay? This is what we invest in. Ephesians 4:21. If so be that ye have heard him, and have been taught by him, as the truth is in Yahawashi, that ye put off concerning the former conversation, the old man. Okay? The former conversation, the conversations of the world. Brothers talking about women all day, every day, like that, fresh and fit. Who else? Mediocre tutorials and reviews. I want to say Negro Ninja at certain points. Well, these men are not in the truth, but these are examples of dudes that were just talking about women all the time. Okay? At some point or another. You know? Or these people that are all about, you know, these rappers. I don't even need to name the rappers. And then these hoes. Look at any Instagram model. Don't need to name them either. Okay? Not that everything that these people say are wrong, because, hey, like we always say, chew the meat, spit out the bones. There's always something to be gained. Not always, but there's something to be gained sometimes. But it's not, that's not what we should be focused on. We should be focused on Yahawashi. Okay? And through the word, which is Yahawashi, then we get to, you know, everything else. We get to, you know, Yahweh and the prophecies and all that. That charity. Okay? It's not charity to be stuck on the former conversations of the old man, which is ultimately still of the world. It's still wicked. Okay, that doesn't show progression. Which is corrupt according to the deceitful lusts. Okay? There's nothing to be gained ultimately in the long run, or towards the bigger picture, for sticking to these former conversations. Verse 23, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and that ye put on the new man, which after Yahweh is created in righteousness and true holiness. Okay, now we're about to get into separating yourself from all the wickedness, right? 2 Corinthians 6:14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? Okay, so like I said, it's wicked of you to not be rebuking, you know, your old friends in the world, the family. They want to still celebrate birthdays. They still want to do these holidays and things like that. They're still engaged in these wicked conversations, these wasteful conversations about all this bull crap. Okay, they're still telling you to get into Forex and all this, you know, cryptocurrency stuff, which is ultimately going to lead, you're just going on the path to the New World Order stuff. Anyone, you know, at some point I was kind of wanted to get into it, but ultimately, why even attach yourself to the things of this world? Okay, just focus on Yahweh, BAHASHAM, Yahawashi. You know, oh my God, we're making all this money. This is crazy. Like, it's a little help here and there. That's cool. But understand, none of it's stable. Okay, don't get attached to the things of this world, because it's going to get all taken away from us. All right, and it's going to be put. It's all linked to Esau's NWO and that RFID microchip. Okay, I say don't even bother. Okay, and that goes for anything else. All right. it's all going down. We're already in the time of, the Lord's already sifting people out. These stores are already making these mandates pop off. These camps. It's coming to Babylon, aka America, very soon. Okay? Now's the time to really laser focus on this word, not anything else. Okay? Stop being carnal. Okay? And if people around you, don't make that your circle. You're better off alone. Okay? In righteousness than surrounded by carnality and wickedness. Okay? Not by any means necessary, but by any means within righteous reason, within expedience. Do your best to get away from all of that, whether it be family, friends, whoever. Okay, keep in mind that people of the world will sell you out. They will betray you. Okay, they're not going to really be down. They're going to get in your way. Okay, the Lord tells us all this for a reason. 2 Corinthians 6, jumping down to verse 17. Wherefore come out from among them. Come out. Okay, separate yourself. Get away. And be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. Okay, be ye separate. Yahawashi said, I've not come to I'm not come to bring peace. I've come to bring division, roughly paraphrasing. Okay, division between the believers and the unbelievers, the faithful and the faithless, the hopeful 1/3 elect and the 2/3. All right. Really the 1/3 and the rest of the world entirely, because the 2/3 are going to be included among the heathen. Okay. And that emphasis on the 1/3 hopeful elect, because if you're over here being divided against brothers and sisters and you claim to be in the truth, then you're not really of the 1/3 anyway. Okay, because the 1/3 are going to be solidified. We're going to be deeply rooted in the foundation of YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Okay, we're not talking about little, disagreements here and there. Well, ultimately, even if there is, we get, we make up and we're good. We don't hold grudges, none of that. We don't hate our brothers and sisters, but we're all gonna be on one solid foundation. Okay, the Lord's gonna bring us together one way or another. So if you're still at odds, if you're still on this division stuff, you're still in the former conversations and the corruption and all that, then hey, again, examine yourself. All right, because that's not, I'll just say 1/3 behavior. Ephesians 4, back in chapter 4, down to verse 29. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying. Okay, exhortation, teaching, that charity, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. Okay, and those that hear you in turn will keep the cycle going. It's a domino effect. Those that hear will also be doers. Okay, and will let more people hear, let more of the hopeful elect hear and improve and progress. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Grace, forgiveness. You come into this thing born again, you know, and you get that clean slate, so to speak. Verse 30, and grieve not HARACHAA QADASH of YAHAWAH, whereby ye are sealed unto the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be ye kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as YAHAWAH for her Mashiach's sake hath forgiven you. Alright? And that's what it is. And you should know what time it is. Okay? Enough of the shit that was dividing us in the world. You're bringing it into the truth. Stop doing that. Okay? Take your feelings, take your opinion out of it. Oh, well, they're talking about black women. I saw a tweet that said that today. This Israelite woman saying, oh, you Issacharites or whoever, and I'm of course very roughly paraphrasing the tweet, but you know, you basically non-black tribes shouldn't be talking about black women. That's a specific example that she used. And then in another tweet I saw, she said that quote-unquote 12 tribes shit goes out the window when it comes to black women or something like that. And ultimately, that's prideful as hell. Bro, that shit is unbelievable. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. But then again, I could, because especially, you know, the Judite women of Yasharallah are incredibly prideful. And they get offended at every little thing that applies to them. Okay? And it's ridiculous, man. You've got to stop. Alright? And that goes for all the tribes. But yeah, we're specifically going to get on you Judite, Benjamite, and Levite women, because y'all be the face of the damn wickedness. Okay? That's a ridiculous thing to say. Okay? It doesn't matter who it's coming from. Okay? We are, yes, it ain't no shit. We are the 12 tribes and we are all one people. Okay? You will get rebuked. Everyone, you will get rebuked. It doesn't matter what tribe you're from. We are to hold all of us, each other, accountable. Okay? And that's just like the shit that that our people, specifically, again, Judah, man, specifically Judah as well, want to say, oh, you have a white mom, even though they have a so-called black father. They want to say, oh, you have a so-called white mom. You don't have the experience. It's different if you have a black mom versus a black dad. They want to gatekeep and do all this, say all this stupid shit, man. Talk about experience and white privilege. Okay, we understand these concepts, but you need to come up out of that, man. For those that are in the truth, you need to come up out of these juvenile ass mindsets, these divisive ass mindsets among your brothers and sisters that have, you know, been repenting, trying their best to be righteous. We understand these things. We understand the truth now. Okay? We rebuke, we correct, and that's it. You move on. Take the correction and move on. It doesn't matter who it's coming from. Okay? It's that simple. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know where that came from. Like, it's just a worldly ass thing. It's a worldly ass stance to have. But if y'all know what I mean, you know, through the Spirit, I pray that you understood. I pray that this lesson was edifying. You know, we really need to we need to evolve. That's what I mean by we need to evolve out of that. Okay, you should have been evolved out of this worldly mindset and prideful ass, you know, sensitive mindset. Okay? Anyone can see it. Anybody can see it. We can all see what needs correcting. And that's it. It's not no well, I have different experiences. Well, how much does that matter? You just need to take the correction. If there's correction that needs, if there's correction that needs to be dished out, it needs to be dished out. Doesn't matter who it's from, okay? Because like I said, we all need correction, but specifically for that, can you even blame them? Judah be the face of all the, the wickedness a lot of times in Babylon. Sometimes we just don't hear about other stuff, but you know what it is. So ultimately, we are the same people. Through the Spirit, it bears witness with our spirit that we are the children of YAHAWAH and Yahawashi. And hey man, that's all that it is. So the Wadi YAHAWAH and Yahawashi, BAHASHAM, QADASH, for granting me QADASH, the Spirit to do this lesson. Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharala, Shalom to the hopeful elect, and blessings, honor, glory, and power unto Yahawah, YAHAWASHI, Shalom.